Hi everybody, this is Janet Wright, and this is another video about relationships. And I really realized today, well, because the angels told me, I don't really have many relationship videos. I have 2 old videos about divorce, which have useful information in them, but that's it. So then today I just made one already, so you can look out for that one. It'll be released at the same time. And then this one is another one. Let me know your comments, what you think about these types of videos, by posting below if you would. So anyway, I'm just going to talk about a client and obviously protect her privacy, but there's so much universally applicable, knowledge and advice that I can give this particular client about her situation, that I thought it'd make a great video. So this client, she was in this past triplet set, and she's done a bunch of triplet sets sort of on and off this year. I think this is the first year she's known me. So she's done, I think, only triplet sets, no individual sessions, I don't think, which is fine. And so she is a grandma. She has a bunch of kids, and they're all grown up, and then some of them have children too. And so I thought this is pretty interesting too, because a lot of my clients have kids. I do not have human children, by the way, just for context, in this life. But anyway, but I don't know that that's really relevant, but anyway, so this client, she's really discovering more of herself, through doing these triplets and doing the videos that come with the triplets. And it's really beautiful to watch. She's in much more chakras than she's really probably been since she was a girl. So that's pretty hip. I think these days, it can still really depend though. She can really get knocked out of not all her chakras anymore. She can get knocked out of, so if this is her, she can get knocked out of, when she's really present these days, she's in 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, and even 2, which is emotions. She's not yet usually in her first chakra, but yet, if she keeps working on it, keeps doing these triplets, keep doing the videos, she would definitely get there. But anyway, so when she's particularly present, she's in 7 through 2 these days. Physical body chakras 7 through 2, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. But then she can get really triggered and corded, and maybe be only in 7 and 6 at her least present these days, which is still cool, because at her least present, last year and earlier in her adult life, she could be out of all chakras, but those days are over, it looks like, because she's just, the more you practice this stuff, the more you learn it, you just develop this resilience and this strength to your presence, so you just can't be knocked fully out anymore. And the more she works, then, maybe 7, 6, 5, 4 will be her least present, level, but anyway, that's not exactly what I wanted to talk about. I wanted to talk about, her relationship with her kids. Now that she's discovering herself more, and healing herself, and getting gradually a sense of that she has needs, she counts, grandma counts, grandma matters, she's, she's kind of commenting on surveys, little things about what's going on with her adult kids, and the assumptions that they make about what she's going to do for them, and sometimes it's like giantly time-consuming, life-altering assumptions that they're making about what she's willing to do for them, and they don't even ask her. So I thought that's pretty interesting spiritually, because I think, and also universally applicable, because I think everyone has people that sort of assume. Maybe it's your spouse, maybe it's a sibling, maybe it's somebody at work, but I think, I always want to help the client as much as I can and empower them, right? So, let's say one of her adult daughters, I think really there are really at least more than half of her kids make giant assumptions about what she's willing to do for them or not willing to do for them. And then also her husband makes a lot of assumptions, because in the past she would do anything for anybody in her family. You know, she was sort of like the classic glue of the family, you know, which, I mean, I think some people, it's their path to be the glue of the family, but I think other people just kind of fall into that role because that's what society expects of them, and it may not have been truly their purpose, you know, to be so devoted to everyone around them. You know, because you can be compassionate but still have your individuality and have some of your own things, you know, and just not be like this giving vessel, you know, for everyone else, you know, like this eternal fountain of motherly woo-woo, you know, for everybody. Yeah. So anyway, so she's realizing, she's kind of waking up to this reality that a lot of people in her life have these giant assumptions about her that, you know, and where does she fit in this, you know, and how to redefine that with everyone. So I would say one thing that I want to say to her, but I think, like I said, this is somewhat universal perhaps, is agreements. Spiritual agreements exist, but you can always change them, and you don't have to sit down and talk to someone. In fact, a lot of times it works better if you don't, you know, like if she sat down, and I think she has tried this, didn't go well, but I think she has tried to sit her husband down and talk to him about his assumptions about her time and, you know, what she should be doing, and that really didn't go very well. So what I generally recommend is do it on a spirit level without words, because that's where the important stuff always happens anyway. And people's conscious self often is the least evolved part of them. So why are you going to talk with the most ignorant part of them? No, you know, just get it done by working with the most evolved part of them and their angels and your angels, right? So essentially one of the pieces of homework that the angels have for her, and you know, if this applies to you, you can do it too for yourself, but is to, let's see, I'm looking at, see what's the simplest way of describing it. Because essentially she writes she has written in many years of her adult life, a lot of blank checks to people that love her. You know, like to write a blank check, you know that expression where you just write out the check and you sign it, but there's no dollar amount. You just give it to the person. That's writing a blank check, right? It's like, oh, whatever you need, you know? And that, of course, is a problem, to write someone a blank check, you know? I mean, because what if they, you know, become overly demanding, and then now you're screwed because you wrote them a blank check, you know? Like, the spiritual agreement was, I will do whatever, whenever for you. So she needs to update that, or just take back her blank check agreements, you know? Because I think now what she's done is she's already made more reasonable agreements that factor in the fact that she's a human being, and she may want to put her feet up and read a book some afternoon, and, you know, not owe anybody anything, and like not be like a full-time employee for all the people that she loves, you know? So anyway, she already has these new agreements in place that she just created on a spirit level with her angels, but she has the old blank check agreements that are still around, like, because she didn't get rid of the old blank check agreements. I think, I mean, her angels could have just done that with her on the astral to like get rid, in her sleep, you know, to just get rid of all the blank check agreements. But I think she just had too much guilt about it. You know, like old societal programming and childhood programming and past life programming. Because, you know, in female lifetimes, typically it's more common in female lifetimes, but, you know, you get a lot of brainwashing about, you know, just being this empty vessel of giving for others, you know. So anyway, she's got to get rid of these blank check agreements that she has to all her loved ones, because it's sort of enabling them to mindlessly demand of her, you know, in inappropriate ways. So what she can do is just say, the simplest way I think is to just have her say, angels, please help me take back all my blank check agreements and replace them, if need be, replace them with healthy agreements. You know, so then like, but she's already replaced them with healthy agreements, but the blank check agreements like kind of supersede and like upstage these healthy agreements that she's trying to tell people about. So in her case, if she says that, you know, angels, please help me to take back all my blank check agreements with my loved ones, and, you know, if needed to, you know, make a new healthy agreement, you know, then, you know, in her case, they're just going to take back all the blank check agreements with her. And she doesn't have to have weird, resistant, conflict-laden conversations with people in her life then. Because really, you know, once she does that, and she just says it as an affirmation, you know, maybe a few days in a row or just once, you know, angels, please help me to, you know, take back these blank check agreements that I made, then, you know, we'll start a transition, you know, and so it's really easier for her not to say anything to loved ones for at least a week after that, because as soon as she does it, it'll create a ripple effect that affects all those people. And so she wants to give them time, you know, and a lot of people who don't meditate, the only time they have to process and adjust to a shift like that is in their sleep. So if you give them a good week of sleep to kind of process that with their angels, that's a better bet. You know, and then if she has to say something to somebody, maybe, you know, less is more. If she really has to say something, but, you know, wait a week so that they can adjust to that shift. So then they kind of sense like, oh, okay, you know. So anyway, that was homework number 1 for her. Let me see if there was any other. Another thing is, okay, since she did all these blank check agreements, they've kind of, you know, that whole glue of the family thing. What has happened is they kind of use her as like a battery pack for the family, you know, like for whatever family member doesn't have enough energy at that time, you know, like she's sort of, they're using her chakras as like, you know, like I said, a battery pack, or like she's the solution. You know, oh, I need someone to do this. Whoa, it's her. She's the solution, you know, without asking her, you know, without wondering, gee, could she do it? Would that be okay with her? So part of that is that she has cords to, I would say half of her daughters and half of her sons at the 3rd chakra. And mind you, these are grown adults. At the 3rd chakra, she has cords to them. I think at this point they make cords to her, but it's because they're just so used to having them their whole lives that they're just replicating it. Not all her kids, but her adult children, but at least half of them. So she needs to, you know, her homework would be to be more consistent with that. Just melt away these cords, particularly at the 3rd and the 4th and the 7th. 3rd, why would they cord her at the 3rd? Well, 3rd is taking action. So if they want her to do something for them, if they want her to cook a meal for them or watch a kid for them or whatever, they might cord her at the 3rd. 4th, you know, maybe they're just kind of mistakenly using her self-love to kind of comfort themselves. It doesn't really help that way, but people subconsciously can get confused like that and dependent. So they're courting her 4th chakra and drawing out some of her 4th chakra energy all the time. Boo. That's not going to be good for anybody. It's bad karma for them too. So she should save them from themselves, you know, and keep melting away these cords so that they don't create bad karma for themselves by depleting their own mother now that they're, you know, they have their own lives. Anyway, so melt the 4th chakra cords and the 3rd chakra cords and the 7th chakra cords too. Yeah. I think they just kind of, because she was the glue of the family, but I think she used to defer to other people's decisions so much that now some of them cord her 7th chakra. 7th chakra is for autonomy, being your own boss, like making decisions, confidence, creative inspiration. And I think some of them, including her spouse, often cord her at the 7th. And they just become entitled. They think that, you know, their decision should be good enough for her. Like she shouldn't make her own decision. Like they should just decide for her and them. So, you know, she should melt this cord too. So she shouldn't leave the old blank check agreements in place and all these cords and then try to say something, because you're definitely walking into some really potentially negative verbal conflict with that. you know, so she should just quietly, you know, keep centering herself if she wants, keep doing the triplets, you know, keep doing the videos, of course, those are free. You can half listen to those, you know, or just listen and not even follow along. That's better than not listening. But anyway, you know, but she should also, you know, have her angels get rid of the blank check agreements and, you know, substitute with healthy agreements just by saying that, what I said in her mind. But be sure you say angels, so your angels are helping you with it. And then melt away these cords. So what she can do, like for example, if you're not her, you know, and you don't know, well, what cords do my coworkers or my employees or my boss or my family, what chakras do they cord me on? I mean, if you generally have a tightness, like I have this one client, she's always complaining about, I shouldn't laugh, but I mean, we've discussed this, she and I have discussed this several times, but she still mentions it to me like she doesn't know what the fix is. I do love her though. But anyway, she keeps feeling a tightness in her chest. And she's just not melting all the cords here. I think she just has so much guilt that she's not letting go of all these cords that go into her fourth. But anyway, long story short, if you don't know where people are cording you, just cover all your bases. Gold light up and down your spine, gold light up and down your spine in front and in back, you know, up top, everywhere. Gold light, gold fire if you want. Sometimes for me, gold fire just seems much more assertive, you know, so it won't hurt you obviously, but it'll melt away all the cords. And then gold light throughout your energy field, because people can cord your aura too, although that will affect you far less than if they cord your chakra. But you know, people can cord like above your head, your creative rings above your head, or really any energy block in your aura they can cord, or your grounding they can cord too. But anyway, so that would be her homework, but she has come a long way. And oh, another thing is she feels like, I think she said to me, like, I've wanted to know what is the purpose of my life, you know? And, or what am I here for? Something like that. And I think that, you know, an affirmation that her angels suggest is to just bring it more into the present tense and use like a 7th chakra affirmation intention with it, and just be like, today I am on my spiritual path. Today I am moving forward on my spiritual path. Right now, at this moment, with this deep breath, I am moving forward on my spiritual path. You know, in this moment, with this deep breath, you know, I just add with this deep breath because that's always healthy. You know, you kind of bring the energy of your affirmation into your physical body, which helps, you know. So maybe, you know, today with this deep breath, I am being true to my purpose. Because the thing is, okay, maybe right now she doesn't have the most fulfilling daily occupation, you know? It's not like, oh my gosh, I was put on this planet to do this one task, you know, that she's doing. But a lot of times with purpose and being really on your spiritual path for this life, it's not always what you're doing, it's how you're doing it. So how present you are, and just your intention, and kind of how your energy is set. So like for example, me, okay, obviously, you know, what I'm doing, you know, is true to my life purpose, right? But I was also on my path, you know, years and years and years ago, when I was in the latter years, when I was doing computer work, I was moving forward on my spiritual path. I was. And, you know, I just wasn't to this point yet where I'm doing something that is particularly fulfilling for me. But, you know, with your intention, you can point yourself, you know, forward facing on your spiritual path, and you can, you know, be open to your angels' help, and just, you know, with your intention, you're moving forward on your path today. Do you see what I'm saying? And then that's just going to help more and more. So don't think of it as some kind of a future thing, like, oh, someday I'll figure it out. I'll figure out why I'm here. You know, just now. You know, today, right now, I am on my spiritual path. Today, right now, I am being true to my life purpose. You know, and that will really help you to just center and align. You know, because a lot of times you know, there's so much to your spirit more than just your consciousness. So you may as well just go with that and just be like, yes, today I'm on my spiritual path. Right now I'm on my spiritual path, moving forward. Okay, great. So hope that helps. And I would love to hear your feedback about what you think about this kind of video. And so if you want to post a comment underneath, I would definitely look at it and appreciate it and reply. And if you want other people to see the video, or you just want to show me that you feel like this kind of video is worthwhile, please give it a thumbs up. Okay, bye.